Let's go ahead and hit the button here. What's up, everybody? Webflowers, effing growers, Finsweet community. We're back with another episode of effing growth. And today we're going to touch back on an episode 2 weeks ago and tie into our community initiatives here at Webflow, bring you all up to speed with what we're doing inside of that Webflow community. And so we're going to outline a few things. The Webflow Community Alliance. We're going to talk all about ClonComp, which is going to be such an exciting event this year. And for the last half of this show, we're going to dive into a public Miro board, and we're going to do a live interactive workshop to get your feedback and other feedback from the community about what you all would like to see us working on and how we can most effectively connect with all of you. So before we get too far into that, let's effing grow. Okay, what's up, Joe?
Hey.
Episode
I'm
22.
ready for this one.
Yeah, we got a
big
crowd
follow-up
with us today too. Yeah.
How many?
Let's see. There's 38 hanging with us right now. What's up? We got Gabe in the house. Everybody say hi to Gabe. If you saw any of the highlight teases, Gabe is working with us on some video editing. So you heard us reaching out for editors to bring on the show, and Gabe a run. He's doing a really great job for us. So everybody say hi to Gabe in the comments. What's up, Andre, Jay Poucher, Edar, Dale, Deshaun, Slayworm, Simon, Kai Jolly in the house, y'all. Mark Timon, Aditya, Bill Vanderhagen, Simon, Web Development. What's up, Victor? Grace is in the house. Hey, Grace, I'd like to have you on Critique if you're interested. So let's connect on that. Jay Poucher, as always. What's up, brother? Brandon Tancott, Pablo Cortez. Woof, the whole house is here. Rohan, Ezekiel,
Nice
Mike. Woof, everybody here. Colleen just popped
Great
in.
group.
Let's go. All right. Joe, we always start these out with the disclaimer. Do you want to give a little thought on that? What are we talking about? Maybe just bring people up to speed just a little bit about the approach we're going to take here. And yeah.
Sure. The disclaimer is everything went well. We're not going to tell you everything about our call with Vlad, but we're going to give you enough information to give you confidence that Webflow Community Alliance is happening. However, everything that we say in this is exploratory. It's still pre-official. The call with Vlad went great. We'll talk more about that, but nothing is set in stone. Everything is still a work in progress, and that's what this episode's all about, trying to figure out this plan together.
Yeah, this is us just trying to get feedback. We've got really good ideas that we're trying to refine a little bit, even with ClonComp. Right, we're launching a new website today on that, and so we'll look for your feedback on how we can, is the message clear? We're going live with some of this today, making sure we get kind of everybody up to speed. But really, we want to collect your feedback on this Webflow Community Alliance project, because we're going to present that to Webflow here in the upcoming weeks, and we want to make sure that we present our best foot forward on all of that. So, okay, let's go just into the next. We were already into the disclaimer, so. Going into how we got here, Joe, do you want to bring people up to speed on the last episode? People can go watch that. It was episode 21 on the stream. It was 2 weeks ago. But just bring me a little, just walk me down the path just a little bit from the last couple weeks.
Sure. 2 weeks ago on Effing Growth, we did an episode about what can be improved with the Webflow community. It was a structured episode all about what Webflow is doing wrong and how we as the community can come in and help Webflow grow a really strong community around this product. It's already a strong community, and our goal is to get a lot stronger. So we had a whole episode about this. If you missed it, you got to go back and check that out. And that's what we're talking about today, the next steps of what that episode has created for us as a community.
Yeah, and I'm just bringing that up as episode, I got to do this thing. Yeah, so, episode 21. It's on the YouTube channel. Ton of traction. We definitely got a bunch of people's attention on this. And so if you're with us on the stream, it was a great episode. We got a lot of things out that I think needed to be talked about in the community, and it led to a lot of good conversations This is kind of meta watching ourselves in the background, so let's undo that. It's like, okay, so it did start a lot of really good conversations. And so that's what we wanted to bring, kind of up to speed a little bit, is to let you all know that we did have an impact, right? We have been heard. And a lot of you all kind of confirmed and said, hey, thank you for this message. Like, we've been overwhelmed. To be honest, we've been overwhelmed with messages over the last week, 2 weeks. We've met with people in the community, people outside of the community, people at Webflow. And so balls are moving. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Right. All I can tell you, and this is what I told, we're working with some of the meetup organizers, we're working on this event planning committee. All I can say is that we're going to get a cool opportunity here to really help shape some of what's coming. And I'll go into this next step. We'll just go right into this, because that's kind of what this is touching on. We're not going to talk too much. We told Vlad we'd keep the conversation that we had in confidence. And so there's not really a whole lot we can share until we get past some revision states. But I will tell you that a lot of our assumptions were confirmed, and there's some real acknowledgement at Webflow that they've got to kind of start doing some things differently, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And so we just wanted to give you a real quick update and let you know that if anybody's wondering, like, hey, how did that go? Are you guys still allowed access to the platform? Yeah, I don't think any of those things are fair. I think it was all very well received. In general, it was all very well received. And we're excited about what comes next, which is what we're going to dive into for the rest of the show, is kind of outlining the plan and how you all can get involved.
I'll give a little bit more information. I'll go a step deeper into that conversation. It went better than we expected, which I think is always a wonderful outcome for any conversation you have. If you expect it to go a certain way and you get out of that call and it's better, that's a great feeling. And that's what we got with the Vlad call. That we had all of these what ifs. We had, what if he says this? What if this happens? What if this happens? And we had all of these exit plans for how to react to that. And we didn't need any of them. Everything was yes, 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 well received, really handled it very, very well. So with that successful call, that's what all this is about. We're taking next steps for this.
Agreed. Okay, well, with that, the next step is this Webflow Community Alliance, which let's outline it for him, Joe, because this is going to be events. This is going to be structured networking. This is going to be an agency incubator concept. This is going to be programming in our co-working space, right? So like really regular structured programming inside of that space. And it's also going to be programs and structures for other people to get in front of the crowd, right? At a certain level, we want to turn this thing over to the community itself. And we're essentially trying to create a stage here, right? This 24-hour co-working space that we're building, these live streams that we're doing, this media stuff that we're playing with, it's really all to build a mechanism that allows us to reach an audience so that we can then elevate other people on this platform. And I think if you've seen our work, you'll see that that's, we love to do that. We love to elevate other people. We love to collaborate with other companies. And we're actually going to talk a little bit about that specifically. I'll read a little excerpt of one of the messages we've gotten recently. But Joe, what are you most excited about here as the Community Alliance? What do you want to highlight? And then maybe let's get into some of the specifics of the programs, and maybe not real specific, but just let's overview some of those programs, and we'll dive in from there.
Absolutely. Webflow Community Alliance is going to answer the question of this episode's title, and I'll read it. How to get more involved in the Webflow community. There will be so many opportunities for people to come together and get involved. And really, that's the most exciting part for me, that this is going to be a platform for people to do things in the community. Maybe you don't have all of the resources or all of the time to do something. Yes. You can make smaller contributions, and together we're all going to come together and make this happen. Yeah. So that's how I see it. That's really the big benefit here and what we're going for. Yeah.
And it's all about shared audiences and shared efforts, right? I was talking with somebody yesterday, and they're doing like regular meetups, but it's overwhelming because they got to plan the content. It's a one-person thing, right? They got to plan the content. They got to maybe record it. They got to promote it. They got to like bring people to the event. they got to follow up. They got to make sure they show up to the next event. It's like a lot. It's a lot of work, right? Like if you're not an event planner, if you've not done community stuff where you've got to get people to dedicate their time to sit down and like give you their attention, it's hard. It's very difficult, right? There's a lot of other things people could be doing in this world than like listening to us or listening to you. And so part of this goal for this program is to say, can we, almost like a school concept, right? Where you're just come as a teacher, right? We'll give you a classroom. We'll help you even bring an audience. We'll bring in students and attendance, and we'll help promote, and we'll help build some of that strategy and churn around it. What we need, you bring some content in, you bring some cool value to exchange, you bring an interesting like workshop you want to run, you come teach a class, do a show and tell, like plan a little meetup, and as people come get involved, we plug you in, we create these processes, and next thing you know, we've got this like perpetual operation that just things are always happening inside the space. You could just, you want to even just building collaboratively, quietly, right? Some of our best times in that space have been just being in the space, working and hanging out and not really interacting with anyone. And so I think there's so much opportunity for us to leverage a lot of what we're talking about here. And I wanted to give this a shout out because we've been looking at some alternate names, and Josh Jacobs, all names for the Alliance, the Webflow League or Flow Vengers. I kind of like Flow Vengers.
Ooh.
Somebody better get on that URL for us before it disappears.
That's a funny one. I also see a lawsuit coming from it.
Yeah. Really? The Venger?
Maybe.
That's funny.
I like Webflow League.
Yeah, the Webflow League. The League of Extraordinary Webflowers. Josh Jacobs, by the way, is our grand champ from ClonComp next year, and we will be talking a little bit about him. People are blocking off their calendars. P.S. The two champs from last year have both blocked off their calendar for ClonComp this year, and when you hear what we're planning and what we've got for this event, you're going to want to block off 2 or 3 days in July for this too. So, all right, Joe, WCA, what are some of the specifics, right? What can people expect, or
Well, I think they can expect some really good information around it within the next 1 to 2 months. I've been spending most of my time since the episode 2 weeks ago until now doing some planning for the pitch to Vlad and the Webflow team. So we should be giving this pitch sometime in the next month. We should be getting some information to move forward, and we want to move forward fast with this. That's all I can say. We don't know official timelines. We don't know anything official, but right now we are in the dedicated planning and push forward phase.
Did you want to give any kind of highlight of some of the stuff we're thinking, even just like the networking, like even if you talk about like the 3 paths, maybe you don't have to go into the whole ditty, but if it's like,
Sure.
Maybe we can share a little bit of just like the
Okay.
idea behind I'm just trying to pull more out of Joe here, y'all. I know like he's trying to like skirt the issue until we get some approval, but I'm trying to like give y'all the dirt here. So let's go.
Yeah, let's give a little inside info. Okay, so Agency Incubator, I think there's a huge opportunity to get people connected to other people in the agency space. In the Agency Incubator, we're thinking of 3 different groups of people, and you'd be broken into these groups during the event: Create, Grow, and Fun. Create is a group of people that want to create an agency, whether it's by themselves, whether it's with a co-founder, partnering with somebody. These are new agencies forming. Grow is kind of like a modern day job fair where we're growing existing agencies. Agencies will come and show everything that they have to offer. People looking for jobs or freelancing opportunities can connect with these people. And then Fun is for people that aren't really interested in doing anything with agencies. They just want to come, have fun, meet new people, network, and do cool stuff. So that's what I've been working on. I've been working on a plan to present for this type of event. And the goal is to create new agencies, grow existing agencies, and get people meeting the right people. There's so many people in this community. How do you know that one person that you should talk to that's going to be a dynamite match? That's the goal. That's what we're trying to accomplish with one of these community alliance events.
Yeah. 100%.
Is that too much?
No, that's great. And I think that's just enough to give people a gist of like, you know, what they can expect. And actually you'll probably get more details if you hang with us for a little bit here when we jump into this Miro board, because we're going to go through specifics. Like, we're going to ask you some questions and stuff. And so by virtue of just interacting with that stuff, you'll get a chance to kind of learn more about some of the stuff that we're talking about here. Yeah, Rohan, that's exactly right. We're all at the ground level on this thing. And we're all gonna get a chance to shape this direction, with or without Webflow. To be honest, I was talking with some of the meetup organizers, and we're going to keep doing a lot of this stuff. Like, Webflow will jump on for some, they will not jump on for all of it, right? Like, we're going to keep doing events and different things, and like the meetup stuff, like, I would encourage you all to just go. If you want to start a meetup, we're going to start releasing resources for how to run and organize a meetup. I can't tell you, like, while Joe's working on the incubator stuff, the agency side, because that's where he shines, right? Joe's built an amazing agency. He's bringing all of his intellectual capital about the things he's done to grow Finsweet to where it is. That's his baby, right? The agency incubator. On my side, I'm going to be focused on the events and the marketing and the communication and the interactivity of how we present this stuff and how we make sure that when you come to these events, it's super engaging. And also, this may be the first time we're going to announce this. We're going to be traveling over the next, starting in September, right? There's going to be some traveling going on. There's going to be some rotating meetups, right? We're going to stop in various places and host some events. We're going to film some stuff. I can't really tell you what's coming in 2 or 3 months, but you should hear some announcements about that. And it's just going to be exciting to see how do we get people actually working together in their own little areas, in their own little regions, online in small pockets, to participate in some of this stuff. And so my focus will be on anyone who wants to connect with this and who wants to kind of contribute. Whether that's giving a workshop, being a part of an agency representative on this stuff, if you want to become a sponsor, if you're looking to put time or volunteer in any kind of way, like, that's where, you know, I'll be helping focus attention, and also working with other meetup leaders in the community, other Webflow leaders, other communities in the space to figure out how do we amplify those efforts and bring in more people onto that, right? And so the best part of community is when you foster a space to allow real person-to-person connections. And Joe and I don't want to be the people just always managing those connections or always being front and center on this thing. Our goal really is to bring other people up. This is what we're doing with the critique show, right? It's a showcase designers. We're, you know, not cherry picking the best of the best designs. It's whatever the crowd submits comes in. We highlight that, and we give designers from the crowd opportunities to get in front and share their thoughts. Like, we want to amplify that. Same thing with these meetup leaders. The open house event that we did, that was all about building exposure for the different meetup groups. And so what you'll see is that we'll bring more and more people in. And I actually wanted to share, this little thought here from, I'm going to share this from Chris Spags, because Chris is a sponsor for ClonComp, and we'll jump into ClonComp here in a second, but he wrote us an email after that conversation that we had 2 weeks ago, and I asked him if I could share some of this, and he said it was fine. So more broadly speaking, what has impressed me the most about Finsweet is how everyone, not just Finsweet, is how collaborative you are as a company. You're focused on growing the whole pie for everyone, not just Finsweet. I'm not sure I've ever seen another industry where the top agencies are working together so closely, nor have I seen an agency interested in incubating other future agencies. Love that idea, by the way. It's truly inspiring and a large reason as to why the Webflow community is so great, because you, the community leaders, are setting forth that example. And so I wanted to give Joe a chance to actually talk about this. Like, I thought it was a really interesting comment from Chris. I see this sometimes, right? And even this is one thing maybe I can bring up in the conversation with Vlad, because Vlad was like, well, why would you want to do that? He's like, why would you want to train and build resources for your competition? And then, you know, this message comes in. And so, Joe, what say you to that?
Well, most simply put, a stronger Webflow is a stronger Finsweet. That is a fact. That as Webflow gets stronger, we can just do nothing at Finsweet, and Finsweet's going to naturally get stronger. More leads, more people adopting the platform, more people that we can hire. This is all really important. So there's a lot more reasons we can have an entire episode just on this topic, but that's the core reason why it's in the best interest of Finsweet to help the entire community as a whole. Yeah. We want a stronger Webflow.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And yeah, exactly. A rising tide lifts all boats. There's plenty of work to go
Yeah.
around.
Think
We're
about
pivoting to a products company, right? So if you watched our press release in November of last year, you saw that we dumped client-driven design and that we're focusing on
Mhm.
products and other things. And so like our goal is to really, fill some of these gaps and build some of these tools and get into a place where like our goal is really to build and develop this talent. And so I don't think there's a lot of overview there or overlap. I think it's very symbiotic. I think if you looked at it very close-minded and you were just like, oh, they're another agency, that doesn't make sense. Okay, but I I think in the bigger picture, at the beginning of where we are in this stage, to figure out how to do more and amplify each other and really grow this thing, I think it's like, yeah, this is a really cool opportunity. Um,
and let's take an example from Tesla. Tesla a few years ago released their electronics and designs and the patent that they had for their technology. I don't know the specifics of that, but they gave a lot
mm,
of stuff away for free so that other car companies can start developing electric cars faster. Great. So now electric is more widespread. That makes Tesla more powerful. That was their strategy from the beginning. It makes sense. The whole world needs to be turned on to electric, not just a small amount of people. And now when you think electric, what do you think of? You think Tesla. You're not thinking of Prius. You're not thinking of these other electric cars. You're thinking of Tesla because they have given more power to other people. So it's a strategy. Absolutely. And it makes sense.
yeah, I love the strategy. Let's see. Let's take a couple comments here. Different agencies will want to take on different kind of work too, right? Diverse ecosystem, 100%. Josh, and when you hear some of what we're talking about for this agency incubator program with like mock projects and stuff, yes, the more diversity you can have, because somebody wants to go build for a nonprofit, somebody wants to go build for a enterprise level company, a local business, whatever, a manufacturing operation, an engineering company, and so like all those are different niches. Like they all require different expertise, and yeah, there's so much work. There's so much opportunity here. So I don't think that's I don't think that's a concern, to be honest. I don't think it's a real concern. Um, but it's interesting that some people do see that. I think that's a new mode of thought. I don't think that's a traditional business mindset, right? Is to just collaborate with the competition. I think that's a very new thing, right? I think that's only possible because of this distributed work environment and everything that we're going into. So, what do you see in there, Joe? What's
I
going on in the
Yeah, I'd love to bring up a comment from Grace.
which
That's the
one?
best thing about being a remote worker. The work is infinite. You're not competing in a local market with limited opportunities.
Yeah,
I usually do not look at any agency and think of them as a competitor. Even the people that we're listed right next to in the experts enterprise group on Webflow's website. I just don't see them as competitors. There's too much work out there. There's too many people coming to Webflow. So we're helping strengthen Webflow. More people are coming. And now we don't have to worry about competing with other agencies. There's work for everybody.
yeah,
And Webflow is just a little tiny thing right now. Imagine when it's
tiny.
the official platform of the web. This can happen.
Yeah,
So that's another reason here. We're just not competing.
yeah. I agree, and I think if you compare, what's WordPress like 36% of the internet, and I think Webflow
Mhm.
has like a third of a percent or a fifth of a percent, like half a percent, or just there's
Yeah.
so much to come in this space. So yeah, I agree with that. I think there's lots of opportunities for everyone. Johnny's asking a really good question here, actually. Um, who will be the head or who will be part of the board of directors? That's to
Great
be
question.
determined. We have an idea that this thing eventually just becomes a nonprofit with its own set of bylaws and some kind of structure for how it governs itself. And so our goal kind of is for us to incubate this thing for a year, maybe two, with the help of some of the leaders in the community and working with Webflow themselves, and build this into some kind of self-sustaining entity that will withstand us. Like, let's say we move away, or let's say we, it's I don't know, we decide to go another direction, and who knows, right? Finsweet gets sold for $1 billion in 2 years, right? And then another agency comes in and they don't want to do the community stuff. Like, who's going to be in charge of that stuff, right? And so, like, we wanted to make sure it's kind of has I guess, what would you call that? A legacy plan, right? And so those are good questions that we're trying to figure out, Johnny. I don't think we know yet. We have to work with, I think, you all to figure that out. That's going to be the point of the conversations that we have moving forward, I think.
Nice.
Okay. Let's see.
Let's get into ClonComp.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That looks like a good transition point. And right after this ClonComp overview, just a reminder, we will be jumping into an interactive workshop. So we have this whole Miro board that we're going to jump into here in a second. So the last half of this will be feedback from you all into what we're doing here. And let's see. Yeah, that's a good point, Max. How can we make sure the invisible community is represented? The folk who aren't as active on social or actively choose to be more coy, shy, etc. Yeah, we're going to find ways to bring them in. And I think what you'll see, this workshop that we're about to do, is the perfect type of format for that, where you don't have to be loud. You don't have to like make comments. You don't have to speak publicly. You can just kind of anonymously or quietly share feedback and make sure your thoughts are there. And we'll find opportunities for everyone to get involved here, right? I think that's part of the best thing of asynchronous work. That's one of the cool things of remote work. And so we embrace that culture. And I think we're going to bring that into all of this too. And I saw something earlier here that I wanted to real quick. There was another one Grace was talking about. Sure, go ahead. This one real quick. Founder of a community for women, Webflow UX, UI around the world. It's amazing news. Clay, if you'd reach out to us, we would love to connect with you. We'd love to help you amplify that. I saw that earlier, and I wanted to make sure that I let you know that we would love that, especially for our critique show and some of our meetups and programming. We'd love to have that. That aspect of it brought into the space. So whatever we can do to support you all, that'd be great. Grace Walker would love to have more resources for meetups, drowning right now with work, but really need to put, all good on that, Grace. You can jump in on some of our events and we'd love to have you there too. So what were you gonna say, Joe?
The invisible community comment from Max, that in this plan, absolutely, we are working in ways for the most shy of all people to have a real part in an event, that they can create a resource, not speak to anybody. They can create a tool. We can have a cool no-code tool that helps do something in the event. People can work on different things. We have all of these options for any type of people. Yeah. And of course, there will be options for the visible community, if we can call the community visible. Imagine people that do video stuff and tutorials and workshops live or run a help desk. There's going to be options for everybody. And that's, I'm really glad Max said that, because that's a big part of this.
Yep. Okay. Josh is going to drop right at the best part. Okay. So we'll jump into ClonComp right now. Maybe we can catch him just for a second before he leaves us. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so ClonComp is going to be ridiculous. First of all, if you don't know what ClonComp is, you're missing out. We're going to release. I can't explain. I can't really. It's the coolest hackathon, Webflow specific. It literally leverages all the best parts of the platform. And last year was such an electric experience. And we didn't do any of what we're thinking about this year. Last year, all of the building took place offline. All the building took place like in people's private time. So we came and we hung out for a stream, just like we did for this, and we reviewed submissions and we hung out, and there was that cool little collaborative session. But we didn't have anything like we're planning this year, where we have an auditorium, right? Imagine a high school gym style auditorium inside of this co-work space, where you will have, as a participant, a booth that you can set up at, right? And that little booth is going to be a private space. And so as people come around you, you can share your screen, and we could have 100 people in this room sharing their screen, and you could walk around and see what everyone's building. We're going to have like sponsor booths inside of there. We're going to have games and icebreakers and interactive breakouts and things going all the time. I expect this space 24/7 for almost 4 full days to just be buzzing and electric. Let's do this tease real quick. Let's bring it over to here. I'm going to bring the backdrop in GFX. Okay. So let's swap this out. We got the new website's up, cloncomp.webflow.io. We'll be revising and updating this, so feel free to share any thoughts and comments. If anything's unclear, that's especially what we're looking for. We want to make sure this thing's easy to kind of digest. The competition can kind of be complex, and so we've broken out all the rules and FAQs inside of here. A huge, major shout out to all of our sponsors. So before we get into any of this, I really want to give a shout out to all of these amazing sponsors. Webflow obviously is our platinum sponsor here. They're one of our top sponsors right alongside us. We're we're putting all the website together. We're putting the people hours, the man hours, but some of this prize money is coming from these sponsors, and Webflow stepped up in a big way. They're also giving us some pro accounts. They're going to have some people, I think, going around the space and judging, just like action-packed. Webflow stepped up big, and this was before we called them out, by the way. So lest we think that they jumped in after we twisted their arm a little bit, that's not the case, right? So Webflow was committed to this before that, and so there was a brief moment where I was like, oh no, if we do this, are they going to pull that sponsorship? It was like a tiny little moment, but of course that didn't happen. So anyway, big shout out to, I can't thank Webflow enough. Obviously the platform's amazing, their support's amazing, and I can't wait to do what we're gonna do with all of this. The next layer is our gold sponsors, Weglot, who we've done work with before. They're amazing community partners. Lottie Files was super excited. Natu, what's up if you're watching this in the future? Excited to see they're working on a little custom Lottie interaction for us that we'll probably have on the site here at some point. Refocus, Leo, has been super helpful. Edgar Allen, Mason Poe. Mason Poe has dedicated a few people in addition to cash. So this gold level sponsorship all gave cash as well here too. But Edgar Allen and Mason are on the volunteer committee. So they have a couple people who are helping with some of the copy and some of the press materials that we're working on. And so shout out to all of them. And then of course, Chris, JetBoost. Chris Baggs has always been a supporter. Last year, he helped us build a little showcase for the sites. Chris, if you're watching, it'd be cool to do a little something like that again this year. I don't know what's the best ways for us to collaborate, but yeah, let's think about that. And all right, next layer of sponsors. We get into the stream sponsors. So this is the one and only Pixel Geek. We love you, Nelson, such a big part of the community. I learned actually Webflow watching his streams, so it is humbling to be here doing a stream that he's sponsoring. And so big thanks to him. He's also sponsoring a prize that's specific to the best story. And so we'll go over the prizes here in a second too. And then Connor Finlayson, Adavilo, this is Adrian, who runs the Seattle Webflow meetup, is also a sponsor. Flamingo, Mackenzie Child is hooking people up with some of his super mega pack. I think some of his other assets, Flamingo membership, and a few of the other things that he does. And we just had MemberStack jump on. So right before the show, I didn't get a chance to get their logo up here, but MemberStack is also going to be a community partner. And so we'll have updates. I think we'll get more people excited about this too. We'll get more sponsors between now and the event. We're literally just launching this site now, and I think this is gonna go. And I wanted to thank Colleen Brady. She didn't have a logo for her iHeart No Code website. So Joe, actually, I think maybe if we could, put something together, that'd be cool to do a little something for Colleen. But she's been such a tremendous supporter of this event. I really can't give her enough love for what she does in the community. You all probably don't see Colleen in the front of things a lot. If you talk to anybody in this space, if you talk to any mover and shaker in the no-code space, they all know Colleen, and Colleen helps them in one way or another, whether it's notes or resources or encouragement or whatever. And this competition would not be what it is without her work. And I just want to make sure that Colleen gets the credit she's due on that as well. So everybody in the comments, if you give Colleen a shout out, or if you see her on Twitter, give her some love on our behalf. We'd appreciate that. Joe, any thoughts so far about the sponsors, things, anything else?
Yeah, I don't know if I heard the amount of cash prizes that we have. Is there an official amount that you can share here?
It's we have more expenses than we did last year. So not all the cash coming in this year is going out for prizes. But to put it in context, last year we gave out $1,300 in cash prizes. It was like $8,000 in total prizes, and $6,500 of that was essentially in-kind contributions. So that means membership, like MemberStack credits, account credits with like JetBoost, MakerPad gave us some memberships, pro accounts and Webflow and stuff. This year, it's like $20,000 cash. Like we're over $20,000 of just cash on hand. So some of that's going to go to cover expenses like ads. We got to buy some trophies. We got to pay for some shipping. You know, there's some internal costs that we need to cover, but Finsweet's also sponsoring some of that stuff. And so most of that money is going into the prize pool. We're going to go over the prizes here. In total sponsorship contributions, we're well over $25,000, which is what's our goal for the year, which blows me away. That's like 3 times what we did last year. And so I'm expecting multiples of attendance and participation this year compared to last year as well. So let's go into some of those prizes. Yeah, this is going to be, we're going to give away $3,500 at least. These could go up, by the way. Once we figure out expenses and once we calculate everything, this is just kind of our best assumption right now based on how things look. But if we get another big sponsor, if we get another, you know, like a couple smaller sponsors, whatever it is, like this could go up. And so right now it's looking like at least $3,500 cash. I would like this to be 5. In my mind, first place should get five grand, right? And so I'll be fighting for that internally. Expect this to change from 3,500 to 5. But we want to make this a hugely sweet pot. Like, again, last year's participants are already blocking off time. Don't expect to come to ClonComp this year and spend an hour or 2 and think you're going to like take this thing. Like, this is going to be a competition that it's going to be like a true hackathon. Expect to spend 8, 10, 12 hours per submission, you know, on one of these things to really be competitive. At least 3 or 4 hours for sure. Not to say you shouldn't participate if you have less time, but I think some people underestimated the amount of time it took to do this last year. And so this year we wanted to be real clear with that expectation that you're likely going to need to put some real, you know, like elbow grease into this and some time over the course of the 3 days. So, okay, grand pies, $3,500. They go deep too. So it's not just going to be big up top. Yeah. It's going to be deep prize pool. So first runner up, at least $2,500 in cash prizes. These are our minimums. So these can all go up, but these are the minimums here. Second runner up will walk away with $1,500. The best story. So if you don't know, ClonComp is a story-driven competition where each day we give you new elements of the component of the story, right? So day 1, we'll give you a little piece of the story. You have 24 hours to build on that. You turn that website in, and then day 2, we give you another piece of the story. However, you don't get to go back to your day 1 build and pick up where you left off. You have to go into somebody else's day 1 build and start your day 2 where they ended day 1. And so you get this really kind of twisty, story-driven like experience that becomes a lot of fun. We're going to award $1,000 to the best story-driven site. Joe, you want to feel free to run through? I feel like I'm just like stealing the showcase here.
Yeah, no, keep going.
Okay,
keep going.
Quick.
These are
crowd favorite, $500. Round winners each round. We're gonna give $250. So day 1, day 2, day 3, we'll give the top submissions from each day a $250 prize. The best integration prize, Connor Finlayson is responsible for this one. The prize will be awarded to the person who best uses a third-party plugin on one of their submissions. So if you're using JetBoost or MemberStack or Noble or any little external tool or something like that, a little plugin, anything you might use. Now just note that if you do that, you may create a hurdle for someone to clone your site because we know how these integrations can be. So you add complexity to your site, but is it worth the payoff? You got to weigh some of the balances or think about a real clever way to add the interaction or the integration so that somebody else can use it moving forward. Hidden treasure. I can't really tell you too much about this, but just expect these. And this is for participants, not for registered participants. This is going to be for the crowd. Right. So there's going to be some cool moments where we will have some kind of gamified elements where either inside the co-working space or inside the website, you will have some treasure that you'll need to find. And so we're going to give away two $250 prizes for that. Each day we'll give you some illustration packs. And so you'll get a $200 prize for the best use of those illustrations. So if somebody does a real cool arrangement, and you don't have to use the illustrations, right? Last year, one of the complaints that we got was that what if I'm not a designer, or it took so long to build all these assets and design these resources? We wanted to alleviate some of that. So we're working with an illustrator. What's up, Luca? And he's creating some fantastic illustrations that go along with the storyline. So each day we're going to release a storyline with some visual assets. And some of those will be required. Some of them will not be. You can feel free to redesign, and we're going to release those assets individually. So you'll be able to modify them if you want to and customize them, or create your own illustrations. That's free reign here. You can build whatever you want. But in case you're not a designer and you want to just build with some cool assets, we're going to provide some of those. The person who does the best use of those is going to win $200. And then we've got at least five honorable mentions. So these would be somebody who's giving outstanding effort, somebody who's, most improved, somebody who the judges recognize is being helpful to the community, right? These are opportunities for us to reward other participants that are really helping just make the competition a success. So maybe somebody who's helping share a lot, or somebody who's on social interacting with people, or maybe one of the volunteers who's, like helping answer a ton of questions that I don't know, right? Like, but just we'll have some prizes for just, doing some of that. So that's kind of the gist. Should we go over rules and FAQs, or what's going on in the comments right now? I haven't looked at the comments at all. Let's see.
I also have not looked at the comments. A good next step here is to talk about how this ClonComp event is really the first test step to Webflow Community Alliance.
Yeah.
That these are the types of events that we're going to be running with Webflow Community Alliance. Now, there's about a month until ClonComp. That's not going to be ready in time for it to be a Webflow Community Alliance. This is still just us as a community coming together and putting this awesome event on.
Yeah.
This will be something we can use in our explanation to Webflow, in our next talks to Vlad, in how we shape future Webflow Community Alliance events, different programs. So that's why it's so important for everybody to be a part of this. Even if you're just popping in to say, hey, or you're going to compete and go hardcore, we want everybody to get excited about this. Share what you want to happen, what you don't want to happen, how this can be improved in the future. And that's where we're going later in this episode. We're going in this co-working space, this interactive workshop, to figure out how we can make this the best, how this can transition into Webflow Community Alliance.
Yeah. And I think I want to follow up on that. While this may not be an official WCA event, the people who are helping us organize this and bring it to life will be integral to that movement, right? Like, yes. This is our first experiment of unofficially, well, it's a second experiment. So the open house was the first experiment. That was mostly with like Webflow meetup organizers and kind of figuring out the structure of how we can collaborate together. This is more a larger scale event. I expect hundreds of active participants here over the course of the event, and potentially thousands of people coming into the space and interacting over the course of the few days. And so, again, so just to caveat that, it's not an official WCA event because WCA doesn't officially exist yet, but these are the types of things that we're pulling together. And to answer, I want to answer this question from Alberto Venturas. Totally unrelated, but this is an example of the most people starting a Webflow agency think about. I think what he's asking, is this something that most people who are starting an agency think about? I don't know that most people think about collaborating and building stuff like this at an early level. We're at a position where we can create resources to try to help other agencies get to a higher level, and that's what this is. So ideally, what's happening here is that we're in a position to have full-time people dedicated to building some of these resources, right? And so we're just taking the lead on that and hopefully sharing some of those resources and that value with the community as we go through this stuff. So hopefully that answered your question, Alberto. If not, feel free to ask that in another way. Anything else, Joe, about ClonComp before we jump into this little workshop thingy here?
Let's go into the workshop.
Okay.
Let's get in there.
Yeah.
We're going to share a link, and we're all going to go inside this public board, and there will be questions and instructions for how we can share information together.
Okay, so let's copy the board link. Let's get this over to the show. What's up, 101? Crossing 100 viewers. Okay. That's the Miro board. Let's go ahead and we'll pin this. Pin message. Okay. Great. Okay, so that's a public link to the Miro board. If anybody has not been inside of Miro, let's go in here as people start flooding into the show. Okay, yeah. So if you're not familiar with Miro, it is a like virtual whiteboard. So what you'll see is a bunch of arrows starting to float around as people come in. That'll start to pick up. We're going to start at the top left of the board. So if you find your way over to the first panel, which you're seeing on the screen here, if you're still watching with us, which is the Webflow user type. And so this is going to do this thing. So it brings me right into it. Okay. So basically we want to know who we're talking to here. What type of Webflow user are you? So if you would just grab a dot from the left side there, and how do I get to this? Okay, yeah, just grab a dot from the left side. Hello. Yeah, grab your little dot and then put it where you are. Nope, don't draw a line. That's not what I'm trying to do. Oh man. Okay, yeah, grab yourself a little sticker and put it where you go. So I earn all of my living building with Webflow. Let's see, agency principal, 26 to 20 employees. I'm somewhere in between there, huh? So feel free to drop a dot. Hide collaborative cursors to improve board performance. Let's do that. This is getting crazy on my screen. Okay, so there are 54 people in this board. This is cool. I'm gonna let this record just for okay, Gabriel, hopefully you got enough fluttering around there. Okay, so we've got a broad distribution. A couple people are just learning. Some people are earning some of their income building in Webflow. I earn all of my living building in Webflow. Yeah, and I like it. Looks like there's like a sliding scale, so people are sliding it kind of closer to one or the other as they, okay, great. And you don't need to share a name, but you're welcome to share whatever details you want here. Just know this board will be locked after this event. So if you're watching this in the future, you will not be able to participate in this board, mostly because if we just leave it open to the public, we don't want people like messing or breaking, or we won't be able to watch it. So anyway, we will lock this board at the end of the show. So, you know, got to be here to participate. Must be present to win, y'all. Okay, so this is good. Some people, we've got a broad mix of people who are earning all of their income and some of their income. So most of y'all are kind of in the middle of that realm. That's great. Okay, perfect. Let's go to the next step. How do you interact with the Webflow community? So this is going to work the same way, except for we've got 3 different colors here. So green is your top channel, right? So just like you grabbed a sticker before, here you're going to grab a green sticker and put it where you interact most with the community. And if you put it in other, maybe type where you interact, right? Maybe use one of these sticky notes to leave what we missed out. So the green is going to go for your top channel. The yellow is going to go with your second top channel, your second favorite channel, and the red's going to go on the channel you use the least. So the channel you like never engage with people on was going to go on that one. So let's see, or least. It doesn't have to be never. It's just it can be least. Uh-oh. Okay. So for me, let's see, green would be, I guess I'm managed my own community, right? And then yellow would probably be Twitter, I think. Okay. Yeah, this would be an interesting, this would be interesting to see the distribution here. Look at that plot graph filling up. That's great. Feel free to, we can still keep an eye on the chat, on the YouTube chat. I can still bring the chat in here. It's exciting to see all this movement. Colleen, I agree. That's cool. This is great. Gabriel, yeah, this is great. Let's see. Driving in my car, so it's hard to participate. Yeah, try not to be on Miro while you're driving. That's not recommended here. Let's see. Cooking. So I don't know. It's interactive. Yeah, Josh, no worries. Let's see. Okay. Great. Okay. So as everyone has had a chance to participate in that one. So this is interesting to me. Okay. So I'm mostly active in the Facebook group. We got a little bit of red there. Where's the most red? The red. The forum has more red than I expected. Which is interesting. I put a red dot in the forum. Are you active in the forum, Joe?
No, I never go in the forum. Never.
I do every once in a while, just not that often. Like I would say it's probably 2 to 3 times max a month is probably all I do. Twitter, I'm on it like every couple hours. I'm probably on Twitter trolling somebody in the no code space or on like Webflow Twitter. Look at this too. Oh, I rarely interact with Webflow. Okay, so there's a couple people that rarely interact. I attend Webflow meetups and events. That's got a lot of red dots too, though. I'd be interested in the comments here what people think about some of this distribution. You know, like, what do you think, Joe? What are you seeing?
This Facebook group. I think it's interesting. The most exciting one is the Facebook group.
Right.
It has the green, the yellow, not a lot of red.
Do you think this is a function of where we promoted this? Are we biasing our survey results here? Although we did post this on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, like we blasted this everywhere. So I just a thought that popped into my head.
I also think it's really interesting that we have reds on the manage my own community, as you have your own community, but you're not primarily focusing on that. I think that's an interesting one.
That is interesting to me.
That seems like it's got to be
maybe
top
it's
of
just
mind,
people saying that they don't, maybe they're voting that they don't manage a community, or that they're not interested in managing a community, right? So maybe that vote is more like we're trying, like their focus is other places. They don't necessarily want to run their own community. They want to like maybe be part of other people's communities. And whoever that is organizing these for us, appreciate you. Much love for the OCD folks out there trying to like, if you highlight a group of things, you'll see this little group icon and it'll sort them for you. So if I like grab, let's say this group here, and I click this button, it'll sort them real nicely for you, just FYI. So maybe I can save you just a little bit of work there if you're interested. So like say we wanted to regroup these, boom, perfect little thing like that. So just note that if you, oh, okay.
Cool.
YouTube streams gather. Somebody's getting real creative down there. Okay, I love this. And feel free. We're still watching the. This is okay. So this is, in my opinion, Facebook group is the most functional and opportunity active, with both people getting help and also looking for offering projects opportunities. I agree. I think there's a lot of value in the Facebook group. Ton of value.
Yeah.
And there's always new stuff. Yeah, John Paul. That's what I was thinking. Survivorship bias. If they made it to the stream from Facebook, yeah. People prefer direct interactions. That's why they use Facebook the most. I agree. I think a lot of people, though, I think this is torn. I think you'd also find a lot of people who just don't like Facebook in general and don't want anything to do with the platform. Yeah. So, yeah, there's that. Let's see. I found this exclusively via YouTube. Haven't been in Facebook group in a while. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Jay. Just wait till the community is built and then watch other greens populate the incubator section. Sure. Can you post a link to the Facebook group, please? Can somebody do that for me? Can somebody share a link for Wolfgang to the link to the Facebook group? And this is what I was thinking here. I hate Facebook, but this is just easy to keep up with all the announcement information support from the Webflow group. So yeah, to be honest, most of my Facebook activity is spent, like when Facebook knows when I'm getting on Facebook, it's most likely to go to the Webflow group. So, okay, let's move on to the next one, just for the risk of we're already at 1 o'clock. But don't worry, we scheduled extra time, and it's going to get way more fun from here. So on the next one is a SWOT analysis. And I know everyone here knows what a SWOT analysis is because we watched Silicon Valley, the show. And just kidding. We're looking for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, specifically as it relates to the Webflow community. So what we need everyone to do here, and we've got a few, we've got a few examples. So strengths, in my mind, would be that it's a very giving community. It's a very generous community. The community is global. It's diverse. It's very multidisciplinary. So lots of people have varying talents across the industry. And not only that, but a lot of people in this community are generalists. which means they know a lot about different things, right? They know about web design, they know about building and development, they know about database structure, they know about information architecture, they know about user experience. Like, we have a very broad set, to me, that like is special about the space. So feel free to leave your thoughts about what Webflow community strengths. We're talking specifically about their strengths here of the community. Again, this is not the technical product, so please we don't want to hear like, oh, the CMS is great. We don't want to hear like, we know, okay? And we don't want to hear what feature you want when we talk about weaknesses, right? When we go over to weaknesses, for me, a weakness of the community is that it's kind of fragmented, right? It's a little fragmented, which is okay, right? That's to be expected in communities, but in my mind, that's a little bit of a weakness. Early stage, right? It's very early in this community. And so, what are other weaknesses? Can you guys all think of weaknesses that are present in the Webflow community? And feel free to jump around. There's no given order for how this all needs to work. Opportunities, same thing here. So momentum, ton of momentum in this community. There's lots of interest in this community. There's eager people willing to volunteer. People are trying to create something magical, place that's organized, easy to search. This looks like it's what's missing. So whoever put this one, I'm going to drag this up to what's missing and then change the color to match that. So just try to leave your ideas in the right quadrants. We're going to organize these and we will digest these as we go. So, and then threats. Okay, the last is threats. Lose touch with users, right? Maybe there's a competitor that comes in and builds some major community that takes all the interest. User apathy, right? Do people get tired of not seeing what they're looking for and then pull out or whatever? So, yeah. So there you go. Let's spend like 3 or 4 minutes here letting you all kind of go through, maybe 5 minutes. So I think there's even a timer I can set. Let's set 5 minutes. I'm going to put a 5 minutes on the clock for everyone there. So you got 5 minutes to just leave all your SWOT feedback, and we'll go through the comments here while y'all are doing that. So is there a Webflow Discord group? Yes, there is. Who runs the Webflow Discord? I don't know. Somebody share that link with them too. I can't... yeah, Josh is saying there's a flow-based one. There's a big flow-based Discord channel. Let's see. Wes, I think I'd still use Facebook group over Slack or Discord. Yeah, Facebook is good for like broad engagement and for lots of like interactions. Slack and Discord, for me, it's like streamlined communication with a specific purpose, right? If we're planning an event, we're going to be in Slack. If we're talking about something that's coming up, it's going to be in Slack. If I just want to make a post or engage with stuff, that's where Facebook's going to be. So I think it really depends on what the use case of the community is there and what the platform is. I also think there's a lot of people that just start a Slack community or a Discord community, and they think that just because there's 1,000 or 2,000 people in there, that's some kind of community that's relevant. I don't know. I don't agree with that. So, there's arguments to be had on all of that. So, Pablo Cortez, the Webflow forum still has the most answers according to Google. Okay.
Yeah.
Penny is saying the Facebook group is one of the only reasons I go to Facebook. Exactly. That's kind of my same thing. Jaredon saying, I've seen people post a job in Upwork and post the same job in the Facebook group. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's do this. Now that you all have had a moment while you guys are coming through. That's nice. Somebody's got a little emoji on the screen there. Appreciate that. Okay. So let's get some strengths. Kind and supportive, loving the spirit, the activity, the anti-establishment vibe, and all the creators interacting on YouTube and other socials. Yeah, that is cool. Very supportive and motivating. Strengths, Finsweet. Love that. Thank you. A little bit more real estate there. Love the content the community produces. Agreed. That's a big, I think in all aspects of it. Let's see. We'll grow with the future. Generous with time. Yeah. Growth. Free university. Yeah, their university is significant, right? Joe, what do you any interesting comments you're seeing here? Energy, F and sweet.
Yeah, it's all true. This is all good stuff. That this is part of why we love Webflow as a platform.
Yeah.
That these are just really important pieces that so many other applications don't have.
The Miro board workshop is a live example of how much Finsweet values real feedback directly from the user. Yeah, it doesn't make sense for any of this stuff to happen in a silo inside of our like space, and us saying like, no, this is how the community should be, right? Like in my mind, the community should be the community, built for and by the community. And so we're going to use this as we create the rest of our plan. The purpose for this board is so that as we go and we start shaping our plan, we're going to use this feedback as like the benchmarks, with which to kind of like, pick and think about how we work through some of this stuff. Okay, weaknesses. Webflow doesn't really seem to care too much as they used to. Okay, I mean, I agree with the sentiment on a little of that. I think that's a perception thing, though. I don't think they actually stopped caring. I think, again, it was a communication faux pas. It was not any real structural change. It was just a strategic miss, and I don't hold that against them, right? One of the things I wanted to talk about here is like, and we didn't mention this with Vlad. Imagine if you all of a sudden found yourself running a multi-billion-dollar operation with millions of users all over the world and investors and blah blah whatever, right? You get just, I don't envy the type of decisions he's got to make, right? And so, yeah, I okay, we'll just leave that at that. I think they're doing the best they can, right?
I'll say they care just as much as they do, but now there are more responsibilities and there's more things to consider. And I know from talking to people at Webflow that they care just as much as they used to, maybe even more. I mean, every time I'm talking to people at Webflow, there's a very positive feel. They're ready. So
yeah.
I think it's a perception thing.
Hey, Jay, I do want to connect with you. I don't think we want a Discord server, but I do want to connect with you. I got an idea for how I think you can help. I know you've been giving us some questions about how I might be able to jump in. So let's see. No Facebook link till now. What's the name of the group? Yeah, I think it's Webflow Webflow Global Designers. Okay, web times sometimes disconnected, lack of higher level tutorials, not a lot of vocabulary, learning opportunities for newbies to web dev. University is good, but some sort of vocabulary list. That's okay, like some like glossary of terms. I like that. I'm gonna highlight that. That's things. Cost. The weakness is a cost. Okay. Little to no communication, tech support, no longer hear from the CEO, low awareness. Okay. All right. So let's look now at the opportunities. What are their opportunities? Let's see. One of the best groups of people I've ever been a part. Okay. Infinite growth opportunity, most talked about, web builder and UX products. Yes, this is the one. It's going to be so hard for people to catch up and keep up with their momentum. People will be able to knock off parts of the product. Like I see all sorts of new things popping up and like, oh, this little tool or that little tool or whatever. But like, they've got so much momentum as it relates to people who are already building their business around this and who are engaged in this community. It's going to be hard to catch that. Okay. Market share compared to WordPress. Yeah, that's an opportunity for sure. Ease of use for clients makes it easy to sell. Yeah. That's more of a technical, let's make it a technical thing. So let's see. Not knowing where the platform communities are. So if you Discord, where you find the Discord options. Yeah, some kind of hubs. Maybe, Joe, that might be an interesting project for us to start as some of this Webflow Community Alliance too, is like a dashboard for all the different communities, that we can have other people come and list their communities, and we could be like an umbrella. So if people want to connect with a Discord server for whatever, or if, Grace wanted to have her little meetup and they wanted to connect with a Calgary meetup, or, if Clammy Lee has her group and they're doing like the Women of Webflow, whatever, and people want to find and connect with that. Cool. So I like that. Totally. I like that a lot. Totally. Huge interest to create something special. Lots of excitement and no code, connecting people. Yeah, lots of great opportunities, great feedback. Thank you everyone for all this. It's going to be so great to go through and kind of digest some of this. Let's go the threats. Okay, Editor X, competitors are catching up, Webflow sleeping. I don't think that's actually happening. I think that's the perception. No. I don't think that's actually happening. And we can talk about that. Actually, there's an episode coming up on the growth that talks about Editor X and comparing it to some of the other. So if you want to hear us talk about that, go ahead and vote over at growth.finsweet.com on that. No desktop app. Okay. I don't know that's again, the browser-based app is great. You're building for the web. Sometimes the best place to build for the web is on the web. There's a lot of dependencies that, just are required there. So Pixel Geek, see you, brother. Appreciate you being here. Okay, let's see. Lack of clarity on who gets the most value of Webflow: designer, developers, business owners, and thus who the community primarily benefits. Lack of compartmentalization for WCA members with various goals. Okay, that's really good feedback. Lack of compartmentalization with, yeah. So we have specific goals and we're kind of shaping this. So it would make sense that maybe this program would follow that goal. And so how do we make sure it doesn't? I think is probably the root of that question, right? How do we make sure that the stuff we create allows for other people to come in and have their own set of ideas for how things should go, and also be able to leverage the resources we're using? I think that's going to be a big part of us figuring this out. I really think that's us working together, and that's going to come down to, you know, like learning a little bit and experimenting a little bit. So I don't know if we can answer that right now. Transparent aids coming up the pipeline, official centralized communication platform. Yeah, okay. Fake money phishing clients, sure. Spam, trolls, I think maybe a technical standpoint. I do think it's interesting. One of the top plugins in the WordPress ecosystem is an anti-spam plugin. And so that will be a serious problem that Webflow and Forms will have to figure out, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, great. SWOT analysis. Let's move on.
This is a good list.
This is great. I can't wait to go back and deeper on this. Okay, so same thing on the what's missing in Webflow, and I think we can. Yeah, let's jump into the. Well, let's not. Let's skip the what's missing in Webflow. You can feel free to participate that if you'd like, right? In your own time. Let's jump into that. I kind of want to move into the immediate progress. I think for the sake of time, because I want to get to this agency incubator next and the goals at the end. So let's skip one. What's missing in Webflow? We kind of know some of that. We covered that in an episode. We've done a detailed episode on that. If you'd like to leave your thoughts there, we're happy. Again, this is community related. So this, maybe you're expanding on the weaknesses. Maybe you're taking some of the ideas from the weaknesses stuff and you're filling it in here. Or maybe you want to leave some other ideas in there. Feel free to do that. But we're going to move over to this immediate progress because we kind of want to know what are the short steps we can take immediately. So let's get 5 minutes on the clock. I'd like to see, what would you like here? What would you like to see from Webflow in the next 3 to 6 months? And what would you like to see from us in the next 3 to 6 months?
And please, nothing product related, nothing feature related. Let's keep this about community. Let's keep it about interaction amongst all of us.
Hang on. Stop for a second. Stop for a second, please. Okay, there we go. Thank you, whoever locked that for me again. Somebody, wait. It seems like. Okay. Sorry, some of these pieces will move if you grab them in the wrong way. So, okay. So, yeah. Oh, and it keeps happening. I'm not sure how to do that. Okay, I'm sorry if you're having some technical difficulties with sliding that around, but built-in class adder for interactions. Yeah, what would you like to see out of Webflow for the next 3 to 6 months? Again, we're not talking about products here. Please do not fill this thing up with products and feature updates. This is, what do you want to see in the community? What can we build as an event? What type of resources can we create? What type of interactions and connections we create? We do not want just a bunch of feature requests here. That's not helpful for us, please. Because we can't build Webflow features.
Also, right. And also think about where you want to see yourself in 3 to 6 months. Yeah. So me as an individual, I want to see myself here in 3 to 6 months. What can Webflow do to help me get there? What can Finsweet do to help me get there?
That'll go on the goals. So if we go to this your top goals, okay. If you want to add some goals here, put them over on your goals for the year. So leave a note with the goals over on the far board. That's where we'll put goals. Here, we're looking for specific action items we can take on this immediate progress that, like, what can Joe and I start working on as part of this WCA that'll have, immediate benefit for some of you. Same thing with Webflow. When we go to Vlad, we can say, hey, the community wants to see you do X, right? That's where I would ideally, the feedback would be most valuable. Hire me. You gotta leave a name and a link to your profile if you're gonna make a comment like that, Otherwise, I don't think you mean it.
It's true.
Okay, let's see the comments. Thanks. Okay, for a while, Webflow forum. Okay, let's see if anything else. It's always easy to criticize and wish perfection, especially when not the ones responsible for delivering the platform. Exactly, Penny. I agree. I think it's right. I think it's easy to just castigate, and that's what we're trying to find real solutions, Let's see. I wrote the vocab list note and can help develop this if need be. Mike, that'd be great. Yeah, let's start a doc. Let's start collaborating on that for sure. Reynold Guzman, Editor X maybe seems to not go after Webflow right now, but they're growing and getting funding at the same time, developing technologies, and they can. Sure, I don't discount anybody, right? We're in the technology space. It's all a race, and Wix has, great market share. I just don't think it's as extendable a tool as Webflow. I don't think Editor X is the answer. Wolfgang, my Miro doesn't work, but about Finsweet, what about Finsweet After Effects Lottie Workshop?
I will say that one does not really sound too interesting to me.
Yeah.
And the reason is we don't really have anybody to do that. We've kind of stepped away from the Lottie animation, stepped away from some of that type of work. We can do something with design or doing something crazy workshop. That sounds much more like Finsweet.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. We're getting some really good post-its here. I've been reading them. These are wonderful.
Yep. And Joe, I'm going to let you run this board here. Once these 40 seconds are up, we'll give people the final 40 seconds here to share their thoughts. And feel free, if you're done and you want to jump over to what's missing in Webflow, or if you want to add some goals to your top goals for the year, I'm happy to have some goals. And again, think about goals that maybe we can help accomplish, right? Are they like to grow an agency, to connect with somebody, to network, to grow your agency? I don't know, right? And there's place for personal goals, for business, for income goals, for Webflow skills goals. And so if you find yourself a little extra time here as we jump into the next one, you can jump forward to that. And okay, time is up. We'll move on. Right. Joe, this one's all you.
Yeah, let's go. Immediate progress, 3 to 6 months for Webflow. We have in-person workshops, more formalized training programs, starter agency education. So there's some comments around more specific education, I'm guessing outside of the university videos. We have more client-first framework. That is our new naming convention. Okay, we'll see what happens with that. Webflow staff in the forums, better customer service. Webflow forums are good, but does not get the right traction. More client to Webflower connection. Okay, so a bit of a communication request, being a little bit better with communication and forum. Okay. Internship opportunities. I don't know if I've heard about a Webflow internship opportunity.
Interesting. That might be interesting as the incubator program. What if we had a tier for people who want to like help and assist, but maybe don't have the full skills or something? I like that a lot, actually.
Right. And they can just sit, they can watch. They can watch some people that are experienced doing this go and do it. Okay, nice. Chapter highlights or event recaps, maybe a list of all the recordings, regular updates from Vlad again. Yes. Webflow social supporting community events. So this is mostly about communication, availability of information, availability of education. Whoa. Don't forget to smash that like button on the YouTube stream and subscribe to Finsweet. Nice. I like it.
Just using Miro here as my graphics package on the screen. So let's Joe, let's jump over into the agency incubator side on this agency incubator tile. And
yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's have you walk through the type of feedback you want here. Obviously, we have some outlines, so people have taken a head start, but what are you looking for here for as far as feedback?
Okay. So what you're looking to get out of an event called Agency Incubator. It's for creating agencies. It's for growing agencies. It is for having fun. What do you want at the end of this event? Let's say we had a full day event doing this. What are you looking for post-event? What do you want to take away from the event? And on this other side, how much time do you expect to spend in this event? Are you looking to come, experience the event, and leave? Do you want to be a resource partner, somebody that is providing resources or assets or clonables or tools for the event? Do you want to be directly involved in the planning? These are the types of questions that we want to understand. How you want this to go. We are in the early staging level, and what we need to do is now start to get to the specifics, and this is what we will do to form the specifics. How does the event go? What are people taking away? How much time do you want to spend? With the agency incubator, there's a lot of opportunity for people to come in and spend any amount of time. You can contribute to the event with 5 hours of work. You can contribute with 50 hours of work, maybe even 100 hours per work. And based on that contribution, this could be marketing for you. This could be education for you. This could be advertising. There's so many things that we can do here. So anything, write anything in these boxes. Great. Now should I go back and go over the Finsweet side as people are filling that in?
Yeah, let's go ahead and fill it all in. Oh, you mean on the other side of the last board, you mean?
No. I only did half of this board up here.
You mean the first one?
The immediate progress.
Ah, okay. We can review some of the immediate progress stuff, sure.
Or do you want to go to goals?
No, did we get all the feedback you wanted on this one, on the agency incubator? We didn't really like
no, I'm guessing people are now entering that content.
Yeah, let's give them a couple minutes to just do that. And yeah, we can bounce wherever we want. At this point, I think you all know how Miro works. You're free to jump in and explore the different boards here. And yeah, Joe, if you see something that you want to explore and you want to call a highlight out to, that'd be great. Feel free to lead. And what we can also do at this point is we can kill the stream and we could jump into the co-work if people want to get real hands-on. So maybe we spend the next 15, 20 minutes actually like in the co-work space, hanging with people and talking one-on-one. If anybody wants to do that, what do you think about that, Joe?
Yeah, that sounds great. I'd like to mention one thing here on this Finsweet side, 3 to 6 months.
Great.
There's a whole bunch of comments around agency directory being found, freelancer type marketplace. What we want Community Alliance to do is give you the opportunity to work for events, provide resources for events, and use that to be found. So the agency directory won't be, hey, here's every agency that we've ever had. It's going to be, here are the agencies that have provided something of value to Webflow Community Alliance, whether they're giving money to go fund something for the event. Maybe they are creating a set of graphic assets that will be used at the event. Maybe they will be creating some tool or resource for the event. And we're going to have a directory of these agencies. So it's going to encourage people to get involved. It's going to encourage people to create things valuable for the event. And that is how we can make something like this for WCA.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. So I think with that, we're gonna drop off YouTube here. So let me look at okay, yes, co-work. And Clammy, I was in a way different situation a year ago than I am now, with an ability to offer an internship or to provide some of those resources. So reach out. I'm happy to address that conversation again. I don't recall that, but yeah, let's chat. And okay, I think we're gonna go ahead and drop the stream. Thanks everyone. This has been so amazing. I just shared the link to the co-working space. We've pinned the tweet at the top of that chat. This is fantastic. The feedback that we have here will allow us to go through as we plan the rest of this and really have some nuanced ideas from you all. And so now we'll jump into that co-working space and discuss whatever final details in a more interactive setting. So see y'all in a bit. Okay, ending stream now. Bye.